Hello everyone, welcome to video lecture series of Computer Organization and Architecture. Today's topic is bus structures. In this video, I will give you the introduction to bus and then I will discuss about the possible types of bus structures. There are three possible bus structures. So let us begin. First, you must be aware about the bus because I have discussed about the nature of bus, the type of buses in the previous video lecture. So bus is a nothing but it is a kind of subsystem, and this is used whenever there is a requirement to transfer the data or the information among the devices. And there are various components in a computer like memory, CPU, input, output. Whenever they would like to communicate with each other, that is possible only via through the buses. It means general term, you can define the bus as a communication pathway which is used to connect two or more devices. Or alternatively, you can say the key characteristic of a bus is that it is a shared transmission medium because here in this case multiple devices are attached to a bus. Then there are three possible types of bus structures: single bus, double bus and multiple bus structure. So now let us discuss about each one of structure in detail. First, let us talk about the single bus structure. From the name itself, it is clear that here single bus is being used. Means all the units or all the components are connected to a single bus only. It means it provides the sole medium for the interconnection. You can observe in this particular diagram, there is a single bus, input, output, memory and processor. All the units are connected from this particular common bus, which is known as a system bus. So this is a single bus structure. There are various advantages and disadvantages of single bus structure. See, as you can see in this particular diagram, because there is only one bus and all the components are connected via this particular bus, it means the cost is low. At the same time, if we would like to add many more devices, that could be easily attached with this particular bus. That is the advantage. But since here only two units can communicate with each other at a time, it means there is a propagation delay. Means only two units can communicate and the remaining units has to wait. It means bus control lines are used to arbitrate multiple requests for the use of the buses. It means here this is what arbitration is required, right? And the advantage I have already told you: simple structure, low cost and flexibility to add many peripheral devices. Next is the double bus structure. Double bus structure where there is a use of two buses, right? So here you can observe in the case of this particular diagram, the two buses are being used. You can see one is the IO bus and other is the memory bus. So what happened over here? In this particular case, it is used or it is developed to overcome the bottleneck of the single bus structure, and the use of two buses is as one bus is used to fetch the instruction and second bus is used to fetch the data. Means the separate buses are used to fetch the instruction and data accordingly. That is why it is known as a double bus structure. And here you can see the processor is in between the memory and the input output unit in this particular configuration. It means the processor is responsible for any kind of data transfer between the IO unit and the memory unit, or this particular processor acts as a messenger, right? Now let us discuss single bus structure versus double bus structure. Whose performance is better, in which case the propagation time is less or what. So you can see a table I have drawn over here by comparing the different parameters. In the case of single bus structure, one common bus is used for communication between the peripherals and processor, while here two buses are used. In the case of single bus structure, instruction and data both are transferred in same bus. But in the case of double bus structure, one bus is used for instruction and second is used for the data. Performance is low in the case of single bus structure while performance is high in the case of double bus structure. Performance is low in the case of single bus structure because only two devices can communicate at a time and remaining has to wait, and if multiple devices are putting the request then some arbitration process is being required. Cost of single bus structure is low as only one bus is used, but in comparison to single bus, cost of double bus is high. Number of cycles for execution is more in the case of the single bus, but it is less in the case of the double bus structure. Execution of the process is slow in single bus. Obviously, one by one the devices are getting the control and they are transferring the data, but execution is fast in the case of double bus. Number of registers associated in case of single bus, they are less while it is more in comparison to the double bus. Means here we are comparing in between the single bus versus double bus only. At a time, single operand can be read from bus in case of single bus, but in the case of double bus, there are two buses, two operands can be read. So this is how you can compare the single bus structure with the double bus structure. Now, let us talk about the multiple bus structure. Till now, we have discussed about single bus, double bus, and you are aware with the advantages and disadvantages of the single and double bus both. Before explaining this particular diagram, you must understand like the performance of a computer system, it suffers when large number of devices are connected to bus, right? And when large number of devices are connected to bus, there may be two major problems which may arise. One problem may be like when more devices are connected to the common bus, then we need to share the bus among those devices. And the sharing mechanism coordinates the use of the bus to different devices. Obviously, the control needs to be given to the devices. So this coordination requires finite time, which is known as a propagation delay. And this propagation delay affects the performance of a computer system. This is one reason. And the second is when aggregate data transfer demand, it approaches the capacity of bus. Then bus may become a bottleneck. Then what will happen? In such type of situation, we have to increase the data rate or the bus, or we have to use wider buses, right? Therefore, the need of high speed shared bus has arises. And this is how you can see the structure of the multiple bus hierarchy you can see over here. There are many buses. One is local bus, one is system bus, other is high speed bus, then the expansion bus. Let me explain you from point to point. You can see there is a local bus. So local bus is a bus which connect the processor to the cache controller, and it is actually connected to a system bus which supports the main memory, right? And here this cache memory or the controller, it is integrated into a bridge or buffering device which connects to the high speed buses. You can see here the cache memory or the controller, this is integrated over here. And this particular bus here, which you are observing as a high speed bus, this bus supports the connection to the high speed LANs, video, graphics, SASI, P1394, all these things, fast Ethernet, graphics, as well as interface with the controller, interface of the controller with the peripheral devices, right? So this high speed bus arrangement, this is especially designed to support high capacity IO devices. This is why this high speed buses is being designed. Then there must be some lower speed devices. So lower speed devices are still supported on an expansion bus, as you can see over here. So with an interface of this expansion bus interface, right? This is actually the buffering traffic between the expansion bus and the high speed bus. Its function is to buffer the traffic. So the advantage of this particular arrangement is that high speed bus brings high demand devices into closer integration with the processor, and at the same time that is independent of the processor also, right? It means difference in processor and high speed bus speeds and signal line identification. All these things can be occurred, can be handled. And if there is any change in the processor architecture, then there is no need to design the high speed buses or vice versa. Means that is not going to impact the structure. So this is what I have to tell you about the multiple bus structure. This is what I have explained. I've just listed out over here. Thank you so much for watching this video.